Welcome back to the Southeast Gassers 2016 Tour. I am Mitch Stott, and we are here at Montgomery Motorsports Park for the fourth running of the Southeast Gassers A and C gas categories. So far this year, we have competed in Greer, South Carolina, Union, South Carolina, and Knoxville, Tennessee. All three races showing some incredible race results, super side-by-side racing, and rivalries are building already. The points are running tight, changing position. You got a 1 points leader from one race, another points leader at another. We've had issues with scales, racers crossing the scales being light, in some cases not crossing at all, getting kicked out, and then losers of the round against that opponent being put back in. This year has been extremely up and down, but it has not affected the racing, and it certainly has not affected the spectator turnout. We have been setting record books for racetracks at every venue we go to this year, and this one here would have been no different. However, Mother Nature has came in, caused us some serious strife and serious trouble. Right now we're fighting with everything we have with the short window that we have in the clear weather to get the racetrack prepped and ready so that we can go to racing with the fourth stop on the Southeast Gassers Tour. Qualifying troubles is certainly the name of the game so far today. First round of qualifying, we had rain come in, saturate the place, saturate all of the race cars. These cars holding water in the body channels, rocker panels, door jambs, things of that nature, previous of first round of qualifying. So here we go. We've got cars come up unaware that this water is dripping out of them with this type of excess, and now it's just causing trouble with the burnouts. We're backing cars off. In this picture right here, we see Mitch Stott, and the water just literally pouring out in front of that right rear tire, you seeing the end result. Mitch Stott being backed off yet again to try to get some water out of this car and try to salvage a qualifying run. Jimmy Finley, same situation. This is his really second attempt at the first qualifying pass, launching softly so as not to get in trouble. Did salvage it to get a qualifying run. Mitch Stott, his second attempt at this. Water still coming out of the car. You can see the car going to the right. One of the major problems that Mother Nature presents to these old cars, especially these old gasser cars, is naturally there's no weather stripping or anything like that in them. It's just, when we do have a rain, and sometimes these cars get caught in that rain, you wind up with water in all the crevices of the body and the trunk and things of that nature and under the rocker panels. And that was really playing a problem with us up here. Shannon Smith, for example, first round of qualifying, was not able to complete that round just simply because it's just water coming out of the car, just rainwater that's been built up in the channels. But anyway, we're doing everything we can to get this race off before the next weather sale comes in. Just kind of ride with us. I'm sure there's going to be some hairy rides as the day goes by. Jimmy, you coming off of Knoxville with the first win for the Fords and your first win with the Gassers, and obviously the snake bite is really carrying the mail. However, we're fighting some serious weather issues down here in Montgomery, Alabama, and just trying to get qualifying in seems to be a challenge. We've got some of these old cars, no weather stripping and stuff in them. They're getting water from this rain we had built up in the little crevices and channels, and so even you go up there to first round of qualifying, we backed you off because you had water. Had an opportunity to dry it up, but still just really didn't have that comfort to put a strong run on it, but you at least did go down the racetrack.
Yeah, I did get down the track and don't quite know what to say about it. Never have experienced that before, that much rain and water pouring out like that. When they started backing us both off, I thought we had two blowed motors at one time. I didn't know what the heck was going on, and I was just bewildered about it. And then they backed us off, and we had to sit there about 20 minutes. But I think we got them figured out and dried out, and we're going to move forward from here, and it'll be all right next round.
Well, we hope so, brother. We'll just keep hoping this weather will work with us. But good luck to you, Jimmy. Getting into round one action from Montgomery Motorsports Park. Got some highlights here from Rusty Sampsell up against Robert Frazier. Rusty in the Bad Banana 55 Chevrolet putting on a show as it always does and taking the win, advancing to round two. Next pairing coming up. Jimmy Huff, Ernie Smith. Jimmy Huff, Warley Charlie Speed Shop up against Ernie Smith and Sonny Clayton's One Gone Dog 55 Chevrolet. The matchup with Sonny Clayton and Ernie Smith has been a promising one, although Jimmy Huff and the Hoopty Wagon Ford-powered Falcon wagon is just got the power and taking the wind right out of Ernie's grasp. Next pairing, Dean Harris coming up against Tim Greer and a bona fide Studebaker. Dean Harris been on a tear. Dean Harris leading the points in Seagas competition right now. Matched up against Tim Greer again in the bona fide Studebaker. Tim getting the starting line advantage, but Dean Harris having the horsepower just to drive right back around. Dean Harris also going into round 2 and building on those points, not letting nobody close any gaps on him. One thing about the Southeast Gassers Association is its unique ability to draw in some of the most unique race cars from around this country. Case in particular is the chicken pickers. The gentleman by the name of Robert Simpson, whom is not the owner of the car, but he's friends with the family who has owned this car for about the last 30 years. Now, this car was last competed in 1974. Some of the earliest stickers that we found on this car was 1963. This car competed in the D-gas category, as I understand, and Roberts, the family that owns this car, as I said, friends with Roberts, and basically told him, hey, this Southeast Gasser deal is pretty cool. How about you just go race it and have some fun? Robert, you know, this is a really unique piece of drag racing history, and from all points that I can tell, this car is still so original to what it was, at least in the late 60s to not the early 70s. And tell me again, if you would, just the family that owns this, who are they?
Ray Herring Jr. Out of Opelika and Dothan, Alabama. His father actually bought the car from the original man that built it, Chief, as they called him, Herring. And Ray inherited it, and then Ray's basically told me, he said, there's the car, there's the trailer, get her out and have some fun. So that's, you couldn't ask for better than that.
Oh, no, ain't no doubt.
That car right there she may not be the prettiest girl at the dance, but she got the best stories.
Oh, no question. and that's, that's one of the things that we love, is some of the stories behind this stuff, because the Southeast Gassers Association has truly given these cars a place to race that gives them the credit that they deserve. We're not out here bracket racing them. We're not out here running against Rice Rockets or nothing like that. We're racing these cars against cars of their kind and allowing them, to strut their stuff like they used to do so prominently back years ago.
Exactly. And this car, as I say, is original back to the fact that paint job was put on it in 1965.
No kidding.
So it is just like it was back then. The car held 5 national records, running the 302 Z28 engine. And now she's coming back out, and we're going to play with a little bit and see if we can win some more.
Well, it just as well likely. Once a winner, always a winner is kind of the way I look at it. But one of the most unique things on this car that I've seen, and certainly have not had the opportunity to see on any of the other cars that race with us, is the intake manifold on this thing. Let's take a look at that. Now, you were saying that the base part of this intake manifold would have been from like a 60-61 Corvette fuel injection engine.
Correct.
And then Kinsler fuel injection, this being one of their first pieces back in the early 60s, that they actually adapted their fuel delivery systems and whatnot to the original manifold base. And this car still has it on it. And as proof, we have actually right here this serial plate from Kinsler fuel injection down in here that was added to the General Motors intake base, and like I said, in the late 60s when Kinsler first started doing these fuel injection systems. If that is not authentic posterity, Robert, nothing in the world is.
Well, and if you look towards the back, it's still got the GM part number on the intake.
Yeah. Well, I noticed the firing order stamped up here underneath the thermostat housing. So, Robert, again, brother, we can't thank you enough for bringing this stuff out and giving us and the people that come and watch these races an opportunity to see something that, for the most people, didn't exist anymore. Well, this is kind of like finding them old rare dinosaur bones.
And that's what it is. It's just a rare old dinosaur.
Again, Robert, thank you much for bringing it out. It's a pleasure to have you. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Unfortunately for Robert Simpson and the Chicken Pickers Willies, He is matched up first round of competition for his first Southeast Gassers Association event that he's attended with none other than Jerry Birch in the Freebird Chevy 2. This right here is a rare occasion in 2016 for the A-Gas category. As we were showing you earlier, Kenneth Phillips has had an issue with a broken rocker arm and unfortunately didn't have parts with him to fix it, but to see the silver streak on the trailer early, didn't even get to make first round, is quite unusual for 2016 in the A-Gas categories. First round A-Gas competition is giving Donovan a bye run of all bye runs. Kenneth Phillips in the Silver Streak Chevy 2 broke engine damage, could not make the call first round, giving Donovan a bye run win first round, much needed in this kind of a race. Next pairing, bringing up Jimmy Finley in the Snakebite Mustang up against Gabriel Burrell in the Southern Flyer Falcon. This is a great drag race. It's between two Fords. Wish there was a different manufacturer in one of the two lanes, but this is a good one to watch right here. Gabriel going red, blowing away his chances, but he knew that he had to take every chance he could against that massive horsepower of Jimmy Finley in the Snakebite Mustang. Next round, Greg Porter, Gary Klein. Greg Porter, longtime competitor with Southeast Gassers, one of the reasons for this association even existing. In the Night Stalker 55 Chevrolet up against Gary Klein in the Tasmanian Devil 40 Willys. Winner Greg Porter taking this one. Pretty easy run from Gary Klein. Although Gary is getting the starting line advantage, Greg Porter in that small block in that 55 Chevrolet turning the RPM, shifting the gears, and walking away. Next pairing, Quayne Stott up against Tony Turner. Quayne Stott, founder of the Southeast Gassers Association in the Grand Illusion 40 Willys up against Quick and Dirty 39 Dodge of Tony Turner. Quayne Stott not running the strongest this year as far as for point standings. I believe he's number 7, but at this race right here in Montgomery, he's got the Grand Illusion Willys really turning on the performance and laying down the numbers and putting these guys on the trailer. Next pairing, Shannon Smith, Justin Moses, 55 Chevrolet against a 56 Chevrolet. Shannon Smith currently on a good race this weekend. The weather has maybe played his advantage. We've got real hot, humid, moist air. That big block Chevrolet just pulling it in, making the horsepower. Shannon, #1 qualifier at this event and taking an easy win from Justin in the first round of eliminations. Final pairing of round 1, Gene Cromer up against Chris Dunn in the Boogeyman Chevy 2. Chris Dunn in the Boogeyman has been improving as the year goes. This is Chris's first year driving the Chevy 2. It's a full-fledged race car with a lot of horsepower and tremendous performance. It is not a toy. However, he did have Gene Cromer, the legend from the 60s in the Moonlighter 40 Willys, and he did take advantage of the starting line. Gene was unfortunately turning red. Rusty Sampsell has got one of the most unique stories that you'll find in the Southeast Gassers Association, and it truly is the bedrock of what the Southeast Gassers was founded on. And that fact being that he's got a 1955 Chevrolet that his dad raced in the late 60s and on up into the later 70s. But the fact is, his dad passed away in 2013, but the car has been in the family ever since the early 60s. Now, Rusty, knowing about the Southeast Gassers, knowing he had this old bad hot rod laying around, wanting to keep it alive, put it back to its former glory, he put this thing together to meet the Southeast Gasser Association rules for the C-Gas category. Rusty, you know, there couldn't be a more unique car that you've brought out here with the history that it's got, which, as I said, is certainly the bedrock of the Southeast Gassers. You know, kind of give us the story on what you remember best as a kid, because I seen pictures of you as a kid hanging around this car on the internet when it became known that you were bringing it back out.
Yeah. Well, I can remember we used to live on a pretty rural road. It was a paved road, you know, and when I was, there's pictures right here of me in that car, and I was probably, I'm going to say 6, 7 years old, And that car only had a roll bar in it then, no seat or anything in the passenger side. So he was going to take it out on the road, a couple test hits on the road out beside the house. And he let me climb in. I hung on to that roll bar on that angle down to the side. That's all. And I had to get down. He said, get down on my knees and hold on to that. And then he went down and turned around and ripped it up through there. And, you know, I was right behind the shifter watching him shift it. I can remember that like it was yesterday. Absolutely. And that was it. You know, that was.
And that just stuck in your
oh, yeah.
forever.
Yeah, forever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, that was the envy of the neighborhood kids. I mean, because you know, we had a race car. We'd fire that thing up. He'd fire it up, and you know, all the kids would come running up with their bicycles and stuff at the end of the driveway, and they'd come in, you know, look in the driveway, you know, and then it was a big deal.
Like you had the biggest ice cream cone in town.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Rusty, you know, listening to you tell that story, I can't help but think how, you know, how precious that must be, how important that must be to you to pull on that same old gear lever that your dad was pulling on when you was watching him as a kid.
Oh yeah, it's fun ride. It's fun. For today, it's running really good. It's carrying the front wheels pretty good, and we're pretty happy with it. It'd be nice to be a little quicker, just you know, like everybody else wants to be, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's holding up pretty good, and we'll see how it turns out. We got a tough one next round.
You know, one more time, the Bad Banana 55 Chevrolet of Rusty Sampsell. This car has been drug out of the woods, out of the shop, and I'm telling you, this old car just once again proves what the Southeast Gassers mantra is: old drag racers never die. The generations in the bloodline lives on. Seagas round 2, cutting through the bull and getting down into the serious competition. Got Rusty Sampsell up against Jimmy Huff. Rusty Sampsell in the 55 Bad Banana Chevrolet up against Jimmy Huff in the Hoopty Wagon Falcon. Now, Jimmy Huff, Rusty Sampsell. Rusty new with us this year, making tracks. Jimmy Huff with us for a long time. However, Sampsell taking the starting line advantage away from Jimmy Huff and carrying that through for a win light in round 2, advancing him into round 3. That's going to be big for Rusty as the points are tabulated towards the end of the year. The Bad Banana is really putting on a show out here and taking out Jimmy Huff in the Hoopty Wagon. That ain't no easy task, but I'm going to tell you right now, brother, you just blistered him right on down the racetrack.
Well, I tell you, Jimmy and I have a little history. We the first time I ran at the Southeast Gassers was at Greer, and he's the guy that took me out. And
so you paying some debts?
We had to pay him some debts back. Yeah, I wasn't backing down on him. So yeah, he's tough. I knew he was going to be.
Absolutely.
And you know, I could hear him there the whole time. You know, until we got in high gear, and you know, stuff's falling apart. I slammed it down there in that second time run, or the second qualifier. Went up against the wheelie bars real hard. Went over towards the guardrail. I had to get out of the throttle. It come slamming down and broke some of the pins and stuff. And we're zip tying it together, but. It's other than that, it's fine. I mean, it just went the quickest run it's ever gone right there. So, you know.
And it's so great to have you taking your dad's footsteps or filling your dad's seat.
I'll tell you, he's with me. In this car is his ashes. I actually took some of his ashes. He got cremated when he passed away, and I took a little container, made a little container of ashes, and put it in the frame of his car, so he's with me every run.
You got it, brother. That's as cool as it gets right there. Rusty Sampsell just talking about his dad riding with him. He certainly took him for a win down the racetrack on that last run. Now we got Tim Bailey up against Dean Harris. Dean Harris in the Gray Ghost Chevy 2. This car is literally taking control of the Seagas category. He has won one race. He is leading the points. He's got one little problem in his way, and that's the Freebird Chevy 2 of Jerry Birch. Jerry Birch up now for a bye run in the second round. His opponent braking, not being able to make the call. Jerry Birch, this is one guy you do not want to give bye runs to. He don't need them. He wins them. Catching up with these guys in the pit area after the second round of qualifying. And I tell you what, just to get down this racetrack is a feat. To be number one qualifier is something certainly to be proud of. And Shannon Smith over here wiping down the old Pale Rider 55 Chevrolet as if that's going to make it go faster. Reality is I don't think it really needs to go any faster because he is currently number one in the A-Gas category. And the Pale Rider is looking strong again the way it has been all year long. Just been plagued with some bad luck and a couple of mistakes. So maybe this race right here is where the Pale Rider will go back to the winner's circle. Second round of A-Gas could not have pitted two cars more closely matched together than with Shannon Smith and Donovan Stott. Both these guys needing desperately to win this round. Donovan Stott, number one in the points with only a 5-point advantage over Shannon. Donovan leaving a little quick on Shannon, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough. Donovan's performance off a bit today at this race. Shannon driving back around for the win. As I was saying, these guys are dead matched in points with a 5-point spread separation. Shannon just made that up with that win. Shannon, I don't know of a more fitting place for you and I to talk a little bit than standing beside the white trash sitting on a trailer here, courtesy of you, the Pale Rider. Now, you know, there's been some stuff going on so far this year. You've been up, you've been down, Donovan's been up, he's been down, you know, but right now, you've come back in a strong way. Number one qualifier in A-Gas today, and the Pale Rider ain't looking back. I mean, it's putting everybody that comes up against it on the trailer.
It feels good to put Donovan on the trailer. It really does. Donovan and I used to be friends a long time ago. The car's doing great. Donovan, I love him to death, but feels good to put him on it. I like him better when he's on the trailer.
You got it. Like I said, you know, Donovan Stott and the white trash on the trailer, courtesy of this man. I tell you, this is going to be a battle all year long. Greg, everybody seemed to be fighting water today. I guess that's what you're sitting here contemplating. I'm guessing. I don't know, because we have been rained on severely. Night Stalker may need a snorkeling mask or something. What do you think?
I don't know if it's the Night Stalker or the water. You know, this ain't so unchallengeable or challengeable or whatever.
Whatever word you use.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. You know, it's always something. It don't matter if it's water or sunshine with the Stalker. You know, so.
Well, never the same.
All I know is I'm in love and I love it. So.
Well, there you go. Wet or not, the man loves what he's doing, and we love him watching him do it. Second round matchup between Quayne Stott and Greg Porter. These two guys have the literal oldest rivalry in the Southeast Gassers Association. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the Southeast Gassers started at, right here. These two drivers sitting on the starting line across from one another, trying to find out who was the fastest, who was the baddest, who was the best, and taking that first win for posterity was Quayne Stott, the first match race. However, as time has passed by, these two guys have traded blows, beating each other back and forth numerous times. Quayne, you know, Mother Nature down here at Montgomery, Alabama has done everything it could to throw a wrench in our spokes for this race this weekend. But in all of the turmoil and everything that's gone on, it has allowed us one thing, and that is to see a classic matchup between you and Greg Porter and the Night Stalker. And I got to say, the old Grand Illusion, kind of back to some of its old mysterious magic tricks, is putting up a win out there and looking super strong.
Yeah, Greg and I always do good together, but we ain't ran each other in a long time. You know, Greg and I was the one that really started this thing. So that kind of reminded me of back when we first started Southeast Gassers, getting to run my old buddy Greg again. And even though I beat him, I can promise you, me and him has went back and forth for about 6 or 7 years now. I win one, he'll win one. I win one, he'll win one. But that right there was tight. I thought he went through first. It was that close.
I understood him saying the thousandths of a second win.
Thousandths of a second. I knew it was tight. But, you know, the weather just got this thing so far behind. And now but the worst thing I hate about what happened with the weather, it killed our spectator crowd. We don't have the spectators we normally have at these shows. We still got a good crowd, and we decided we was going to put on a show for what was spectators it was here.
You know, like I said, whether it be the spectators here or the people watching it on television, you know, we got something to talk about, because earlier today I didn't think it was going to happen. But as I said, regardless, no matter what, we got to see a great race between you and the Night Stalker. And, hey, today was your day. We do know he'll be itching for the next opportunity.
Oh, I'll promise you Greg Porter will be back, and it ain't going to be pretty when he comes back, but I'll be waiting on him.
You got it. You heard it from the man, Quayne Stott. That's one win against Porter, but he knows the next one will be twice as hard. Next pairing for the second round of eliminations is Chris Dunn and Jimmy Finley. This is a big race right here for Chris Dunn and Jimmy Finley both. Jimmy Finley been pretty steady, number 4 in the points so far this year, just coming off of a win, his first win, not only for him but for the Ford banner at Knoxville Dragway about 3 weeks ago. Now, Chris Dunn hasn't won a race yet, but he's been making rounds, just becoming the bridesmaid, if you will, not taking that win home. However, Chris Dunn taking the win from past race winner Jimmy Finley. Chris, you know, you're making rounds today, and you certainly got a fast hot rod here in the Boogeyman today. However, I understand you're having a little bit of clutch issues. It was even questionable if you was going to go up on the second round against Jimmy Finley. Obviously, it's fortunate that you did. You won the round. He went red. Don't know that that's why you beat him or not, but the fact is you made that round, so that's one more round on points. And, you know, right now, you planning on keep going? You going to keep pushing the old Boogeyman till she just says no more?
The car's got it. Do I got it? That's the thing. You know, we're having a bad clutch problem. Throttle bearing's coming apart or something. If we can make this round and not tear something up, great. If we can take Quayne out, which is so hard to do, you know, I'd love to go to the finals. The rain's on us, obviously. I don't even know if we're going to make this round.
It's questionable.
And, you know, and then let's say we do, I don't know if whoever might even go to the final. So, I don't know.
As you're speaking, unfortunately, I'm feeling raindrops hit us now, so we don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, if we're able to get it in, Chris, brother, good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Grey Ghost hanging tough, ain't you, brother?
Grey Ghost tough, baby.
I mean, you've got, what, 2 rounds under your belt. It's running strong. I don't think anybody that you've come up against so far has got anything for you. Unfortunately, I'm afraid we're not going to get to finish this race and get us a true winner here, so it's probably just going to be kind of an across-the-board points count for who's left.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. I'm just glad we got some runs in today. At least we got some runs.
I was amazed that we got any.
But, you know, yeah, the old track was good, too. I mean, I made some good passes. I wasn't as good on tree tonight as I needed to be anyway, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't have to go. I was going to have to run birch this time.
Oh, no, don't tell me that. So we ain't going to get to see that tonight.
And my bird cage is hanging in the motorhome, and I done told him. And he's got a little bit of motor issues too, so but I did not want to win with his motor issues.
Well,
so
now, Dean, that's awful laughable, but at the same time, a win.
But I was going to take it.
Well, Dean, brother, we're glad that you made the trip down to Montgomery, but as we said, we're standing in rain now, so I know the deal's over for the weekend. Well, we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, baby.
Well, as we have been fighting the rain all day long, trying to find little windows in it to run this race, it had put us into the wee hours of the evening, as you can tell by the darkness. At the same time, finally another rain cell came in, and it has just completely washed this place out of business for this weekend. However, all of your second round winners in C and A gas category will be going to Darlington, and that's where this race will be finalized at, in Darlington. We will run the final rounds of eliminations of this race at the Darlington event coming up in August. So all of your round 2 winners, obviously still in eliminations, this will be run during qualifying in Darlington in August for the final of this event. From there, the points will be tabulated, and then those rounds of eliminations for this race, serving for this race in Darlington, will also be your qualifying positions for the Darlington event. So the Darlington is going to be, the qualifying at Darlington is going to serve 2 things. One's going to be the finals determining a winner from A and C gas categories of Montgomery. It's also going to determine the race order for the Darlington event. So be sure and catch up with us on that one. Come out to see it firsthand if possible, because that's going to be a pretty unique race. There's going to be a lot of racing in one race day at Darlington, South Carolina. Mother Nature has dampened our spirits for this event, but not for the season. We'll all be back. It gives these guys some time to work on their stuff and maybe get them faster, and sometimes as it goes, gets them slower. But either way, all of these guys will continue to fight, and we'll carry this fight on into Darlington. Again, Lord, we come to you in prayer. We thank you for our blessings and our opportunities in life, and we certainly hope that each and every one of your people that come to these races and watch these races continue to bless you and give you thanks for all things. In Jesus' holy name, amen.